For the last 3 months I've been remastering the visual elements of a feature film that I wrote and directed a few years ago called Xlitherman. Let me just show you what this represents. First of all, I had to capture 31 hours of high definition footage. This is what it looks like. I've obviously categorized it all. I've made sure that every clip, each one of these represents a clip of footage, a take if you like, and they've all been categorized and labeled and put into folders. Look how many clips there are in 31 hours of footage. We'll continue down here and down here and down here. I had to select the clip that best represented the original footage that we had, because although I've re-edited it, I had to start by remastering the footage based on the cut that we already had of this feature film. It runs to 91.5 minutes, so 31 hours of footage represents a shooting ratio of 20:1. And unfortunately, normally I wouldn't want to shoot at that ratio. It's too much. You have too much choice to cut from. If we were shooting on film, then realistically 10:1 would have been more than enough. The cost of film and the cost of negative printing and then printing from the final cut is extortionate. Video has made us lazy. Notice I'm still scrolling through all these clips of tape. There are thousands of them, literally. So there's over 1,000 anyway, nearly 2,000 takes here, probably more than 2,000 actually when I've counted them all. I've never bothered to count them. I think it would terrify me if I'd counted them all up, and every one of them has got choices that I had to make in the original edit. Obviously, when I overlaid the original cut, I could then make further choices, and this is a new, I guess you'd call it a director's cut. It's the 10th anniversary director's cut of this movie that's going to be reissued sometime this year for the 10th anniversary. Anyway, we're still going. Look, tape after tape, clip after clip after clip, and all those are represented in the timeline down here. I don't know if you can see the cursor moving in the timeline, bottom right of the screen. There's clip after clip after clip, and I have to choose exactly to the frame where to put the cut point. So this is a true editorial process. Bear in mind that I'm not touching the sound here. I will be remixing the sound, but I'll do that later. Effects, I've color graded this picture, and I've been very sparing with special effects. I don't really like them. I've used a particular cutting style where I haven't used a single dissolve, but you have to know your way around the edit suite, and these down here in the bottom left hand corner represent all the potential effects that I could apply to each clip and each frame, even individual frames of this movie, and you have to know your way around this or you're not going to be able to do a proper job. Thankfully, over the years, I know my way around an edit suite, I know my way around an effects suite, and there are hundreds upon hundreds of effects and transitions to choose from. I've used straight jump cuts pretty much all the way through this movie. There is not a single dissolve, there's not an effects transition anywhere. So that's what's been involved in the last 3 months. Capturing, then resynchronizing the footage, the recaptured footage, the pristine footage with the soundtrack that we have, and then choosing re-edit points. So we've re-edited this movie, and that's what's taken up my time this last 3 months. Now I've got to export this, and then I've got to remix the soundtrack, and that'll take me about another week, I would guess. I'm going to have a stereo soundtrack and a 5.1 soundtrack for Dolby Digital surround sound. Anyway, it's a lot of work. So we'll stop there, and that's the end of this little film clip.